Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat of New York, on Friday shot back at criticism from right-wing figures after a photo of her on vacation with her boyfriend in Florida was shared online, suggesting that her critics stop projecting their sexual frustrations on her. Steve Cortez, a former Trump campaign advisor, shared a photo on Twitter on Friday of Ocasio-Cortez in public with her boyfriend, Riley Roberts, vacationing in Florida. Man, he has the same last name, but with the S instead of a Z. So I'll call him Cortez and I'll call AOC by that nickname. Cortez attacked AOC for not wearing a mask in public and also took aim at Roberts's gross, pale male feet in public. Ocasio Cortez responded by retweeting the photo and writing, "If Republicans are mad they can't date me, they can just say that instead of projecting their sexual frustrations onto my boyfriend's feet, you creepy weirdos." Okay, so after this, she also writes, "It's starting to get old ignoring the very obvious, strange, and deranged sexual frustrations that underpin the Republican fixation on me, women, and LGBT people in general," the New York Congresswoman added. "These people clearly need therapy, won't do it, and use politics as their outlet instead. It's really weird." Ian Hayworth, editor of the Daily Wire, replied to Ocasio Cortez's tweet by writing, "I definitely do not want to date you. I'm glad you felt the need to share that with the world," Ocasio Cortez quipped. "Don't worry, this is a totally normal thought to have and share as an editor of a right wing website, and totally doesn't prove my point at all. I hear if you say it enough times, you'll actually start to believe it." She added that she found it so creepy slash weird that people like Hayworth are responsible for shaping the new news headlines we all see in media. Should be very concerning. Should be really concerning. Ocasio Cortez's family that lives in Florida with her mother, Blanca Ocasio Cortez, having moved to the state shortly after her daughter launched her successful congressional campaign. Earlier on Friday, the hashtag AOC loves DeSantis began trending on Twitter as critics of Ocasio Cortez blasted her for traveling to Florida. They argued Ocasio Cortez was acting hypocritically by traveling to a state with fewer COVID-19 restrictions when she had previously spoken in support of pandemic mitigation measures and mask wearing. Florida Governor DeSantis, I'm sorry, that was a genuine slip up. His campaign shared the photo of Ocasio Cortez, tweeting, "Welcome to Florida, AOC. We hope you're enjoying a taste of freedom here in the Sunshine State thanks to Ron DeSantis' leadership." Hasn't Governor DeSantis been inexplicitly missing for like 2 weeks? Ocasio Cortez wrote in response to the jibs. "If he's around, I would be happy to say hello. His social media team seems to have been posting old photos for weeks. In the meantime, perhaps I could help with local organizing. Folks are quite receptive here." So there's a lot to unpack with this story. Now, I'm not a fan of talking about the way other people look, um, especially since a lot of time it's done by people who hide their face. I'm especially not a fan, I don't mean to be redundant, of people who are like, it's really weird for what I assume is a straight man, and maybe he's not straight. I don't know. I'm just assuming. But let's say that he is for the sake of this conversation. To take the picture of another man and talk about how he doesn't like his pale male feet and how they're gross. What's wrong with it? And I don't usually like to, because there is a thing where, one of the problems I have with her response, the only problem I have is that a lot of these, and I'm just going to come out and say it, female politicians do this thing that really pisses me off, where they act like because of their gender, they're treated in a manner that is entirely exclusive to them. So, for example, I have shown multiple screenshots of creepy men across the internet talking about the way I look. Um, but she says, "Oh, the sexual frustrations that underpin Republican fixation on me, women, and LGBT people in general." She's trying to say that if you're not a woman or LGBT, you don't have this happen, which is not true. We saw the same thing with Cinema, where she was talking about she has her appearance criticized. Now, this is so sexist, even though people do it to certain men, such as yours truly, all the time as well. The other part of this that's really funny is where Ian Howarth says, "I definitely do not want to date you." Now, if you actually don't want to date somebody, you don't need to write that to them publicly. You should just know you don't want to date that person. There are plenty of women on social media and in real life that I don't find attractive either for their appearance or something I know they've done, and I don't need to go up to them and say, "I definitely would not date you." I just, just wouldn't make an attempt to do that. Um, so, like, he owned himself by responding to this. If he actually felt that way, he just wouldn't say anything. The last part is also pretty not as funny, but it's also humorous. Like, oh yeah, we got you because you came to Florida, the state that has freedom. It's like, what? How are you owning somebody or showing how much of a hypocrite they are because they happen to travel to what is a pretty nice looking state? I would, if I wasn't, I guess if we didn't have different restrictions and whatnot, I would go and just hang out in Florida for a few days. It's a nice looking state, but how is going there and sitting on the beach for a couple of days something that is hypocritical? It's not like when she went over there, she said, "Well, I now support the restrictions being gone," or it's like, "Oh, I know you." It's just a really weird flex for them to take or to make rather, and really shows that they've run out of ideas for stuff to attack her over. Oh, you don't like the lack of restrictions over here? Then why did you come to our state? Yeah, members of Congress go to other states all the time. They travel around the U.S. But no, this article's been really funny. Just there is a lot of sexual frustrations. I'm just going to come out and admit it. I think the overwhelming majority of, and it's not all conservatives, not all liberals, but people who talk about the way she looks, because I have seen this and I saw it mostly after she was first elected. She hadn't even taken office yet. I do think most of them find her attractive and would want to date her because why do they focus so much on something that doesn't matter? So that I don't usually get in the business of defending AOC over and over, but I will when it's something that I think is valid. And I do find it very creepy that they're like analyzing her boyfriend's feet and declaring in response messages, "Oh, I definitely would not date you." It's really weird and goofy, and it is there is a sexual, an erotic subtext to the way that these people act towards this woman, and it's been like this since she got into relevancy 3 years ago.